There are many spectacular rewards that a crate could contain. You can view this excellent selection by previewing a crate. May luck follow you.
know how long I've been looking for you.
So many visitors, so little time.
Traveler, a moment, please. The wood elven spinners do have magical powers, it's true. But in my research for spinners of Ifri, I found that much of their insight actually stems from a pervasive, some might say insidious, intelligence network.
You have my word. If the Counselor is in Leowin or the surrounding countryside, the Ivory Brigade will find her. You there! A moment of your time, please. Not now, citizen. Can't you see I have my hands full at the moment? I'm sure a guard or one of my brigadines can assist you. Why didn't you say so? Leowin's problems are legion, and now the Wood Elf Archer's predictions seem to be coming true. Damn these old Imperial secrets. Counselor Jirik has disappeared, and the Ivory Brigade is already spread too thin for my liking. The Wood Elf, Everly Sharparrow, she brought news that the Dark Brotherhood was targeting members of the Elder Council, all because of some secret of the Longhouse Emperors. We took her warning seriously, but Jirik refused Brigadine protection. With that guild of assassins, I'm not sure what to think. But Jirik is missing, and I don't have enough Brigadines at the ready to conduct a proper search. You look capable. So, care to earn some gold and help us determine the Counselor's fate? Here, let me update your map. These are places Jirik visits during her daily routine. If something befell her, it happened somewhere along this path. Meanwhile, I have Everly Sharparrow checking locations in the city. She was very eager to help. Counselor Jirik was a member of the Imperial Elder Council, back when we still had an empire. Now her title is mostly ceremonial, but she continues to assist the legates by serving as an intermediary with the local nobility. Since the collapse of the Empire and the dissolution of the Elder Council, Leowin has become an independent city-state. Countess Caro sits on the throne, but the Chamber of Legates governs the city. I suppose the Countess is technically the highest authority in Leowin, but she leaves the administration of the city to the Chamber of Legates. Leviticus, another former council elder, leads this august body, along with Tebeziko and Amhalu. Counselor Jirik is a creature of habit. Her daily routine is to stroll along the river and stop to read near a cave across the way. While Everly Sharp Arrow examines spots the Counselor frequents in the city, you should check these locations. On paper, Countess Caro rules Leowin, but in practice, the Chamber of Legates governs the city. Legates Tebezako and Amhalu, and Counselor Leviticus. They handle day-to-day tasks. Me? I'm commander of the Ivory Brigade, Leowin's militia. Indeed. Since the fall of the Empire, the Ivory Brigade had to redouble its efforts to replace the Imperial legions. We maintain active defenses in the north to keep the ongoing war at bay. But we have our hands full with refugees, bandits, and such. The Three Banners War. Let the alliances fight over the Ruby Throne as long as they leave us in peace. I just wish I had more soldiers to spare for this new threat that Everly Sharp Arrow brought to our attention. Interesting. She arrived a short time ago with a tale straight out of a mystery novel. She said that Emperor Leovic's former steward had been murdered by the Dark Brotherhood, killed over some secret pertaining to the Longhouse Emperors. Ah, then you must be the associate she was waiting for. She'll be glad to hear that you've arrived. Everly presented her evidence to Counselor Leviticus, that the members of the Elder Council were in danger. He decided the threat was credible. Counselor Leviticus has kept her close, while the two of them try to make sense of this so-called secret. I have yet to be made privy to the details. With Jiric's disappearance, I'll send Everly to check places the Counselor frequents in the city.
Pico, over here. I open my claws in humility, Wanderer. Please, stay to hear my story. Have you heard of the Sulzon tribe? Vicious and unrelenting, they wander to the swamps, attacking any they find. Now, they've fallen upon my home in Rockgrove. A horde of those impure Limphins raided the old city and seized the Zanmir. They captured so many of my kin, or returned them to darkness. Their purpose hides from us. But our Stone Talker claims he recognized their leader, Basse. With a stiff tail and bared abdomen, I beg for your aid. Please, gather a force of your strongest allies. Travel to Rockgrove and drive out the Sulzon. Defend what is left of my tribe, and they will surely
Pardon me, you're not the counselor. Apologies. I heard you stumbling about and thought it might be Counselor Jirik. Oh, no one important, I assure you. I'm simply one of the counselor's aides. I help her with paperwork mostly. Run errands, that sort of thing. She initially refused the captain's offer, but she received a letter that made her uneasy. Last I saw, she was headed back to the city by way of the Eastern Gate. But she never returned to her manor, so I came to look for her. Please, find her.
Someone! Anyone! Help me! I refused to believe, but Farrell, Leviticus, they were right. I was attacked. An assassin. You must warn the others, the counselors. Leofic's secret, it will be the death of us all!
Counselor Jirik! Damn, we're too late! Damn it! Looks like we were both too late. It's just like I expected when we found that list with all the counselors' names on it. I hate being right when somebody dies. Glad to see you made it here, by the way. Did you happen to see who killed her? The mark of the Dark Brotherhood, just like Farrell Lupus. Remember I said I was going to find Leviticus? Well, I did. And turns out, he's the head of the city's Chamber of Legates. I just wish another person hadn't died because of this damn secret. The secret of the Longhouse Emperors. It has something to do with the 4 ambitions of Mehrunes Dagon. I think they're Daedric weapons, but that's all we know so far. Remember, I was working for Farrell Lupus. He sent me to find that strange tome. Right, and we found that list with all the counselors' names on it. Farrell's too. The one that suggested they all knew something about the ambitions. Since Farrell was murdered, I figured the others were in danger too. Looks like I was right. Let me have your map. This is where Councillors Valeria and Sophis were last time I checked. Go warn them. Convince them the threat is real. Then meet me at Councillor Jiric's manor in the city. Maybe we can find something more about this secret. I'll get the city guards to come and gather the Councillor's body. She shouldn't just be left out here. Then I'll head to Councillor Jiric's manor. When you're done checking on Councillor Valeria and Councillor Sophis, meet me there. So Farrell Lupus hired me to retrieve a book from a retreat once used by the Longhouse Emperors. He never told me what it was, and he died before I could ask. The book is weird. It has weird pages and weird markings, and I can't read a word of it. Not much. Farrell's partner said he planned to use it to make things right, but she didn't know how. And it's Daedric, I think. I will say, carrying it's kind of a burden. And I've been having strange dreams. But I don't want to talk about that. Like I said, it all started when I found that strange tome for Farrell Lupus, and Emperor Leovic's journal. It was in code, but I got it translated. Sent me to a few hidden Imperial caches where I learned that the Longhouse Emperors had a secret. Right, but it turned out I wasn't the only one trying to learn more about the ambitions. A group of cracked acorns called the Order of the Waking Flame. Fanatic Mehrunes Dagon cultists. Had to put arrows in more than one of those bastards. I guess someone hired them to eliminate everyone who knows about the secret. The question is, who? And I was told by a more or less friendly Dremora named Lyrinth that the fate of our world was at stake. So of course I want to figure this all out.
Well to its knees.
Invade the domain of Mehrunes Dagon! most impressed.
Stop the flood with a sword? No one escapes.
Out with it. I'm too busy for pleasantries and dribble at the moment. Venus, he's dead? How? No, he wouldn't want me to mourn when there's still work to be done. You found it alongside the body of one of the best researchers the Guild has ever seen. Venus was a very tenacious man. If this thing killed him, it's definitely dangerous. If Venus says the stone was linked to the Prince of Change, I believe him. He was always right. It was incredibly annoying. I'm going to miss that. Thank you. As terrible as the news is, I can't imagine what not knowing would have done to me. I'll look into this strange stone immediately. It'll give me something to focus on with everything that's just happened. When reports of the portals and the cultists started coming in, Venus packed his bags. He couldn't sit idly by and wait for more news, even after I asked him to. This is the first I've heard from him since he left. Unfortunately not. Or at least we don't yet. More researchers have gone through the portals. Maybe they'll be luckier than my Venus was. Between their findings and this stone, we will be able to uncover what Dagon is planning. We have to. What I know is that I lost someone today. Someone who died trying to get this device into my hands. I might have theories. Can you write legibly in the face of danger? Want to get paid for it? Come speak with me.
We weren't expecting visitors. Are you here to see the counselor? Are you here to speak with Counselor Sophis? I'm afraid my husband has taken our dog for a walk. Is there something I could help you with, perhaps? Danger? What are you talking about? Does this have something to do with that letter? And who are you, by the way? Captain Rianne? I see. Well, if the Ivory Brigade sent you, my husband likes to walk our dog Chero along the tree line. Go on and find him. I'll wait here in case he returns. My husband, Valen, received a letter from an old friend this morning. Farrell Lupus, Emperor Leovic's steward. I could see that whatever was in that letter upset him, but he didn't want to discuss it, and I didn't push him. Now please, go find him. What's taking you so long? They should...
Valen! No! Oh, Valen! Oh, my love! What happened? I thought Captain Rihan sent you to protect my husband!
You know, Valen acted strange after the letter from Farrell Lopez arrived. He didn't tell me what it said, and I never asked. Before he left today, he gave me a sealed scroll, said to give it to Counselor Leviticus if anything ever happened to him. A scroll, sealed and bearing my husband's stamp. Take it. Give it to Counselor Leviticus. I hope it helps catch whoever murdered my husband. I'll summon the town guard. They'll help me with my husband.
I had a brother at Firebrand Keep. I mourn his loss, but I am grateful you restored order there.
You look like a hardy soul, unconcerned with the prospect of death by trick, trap, or misadventure. How do you feel about helping a defenseless scholar from Gideon unearth a little history from Undertow Cavern? Oh, and can you swim? Have you heard of Phalavon the Magnificent? He was a famous Nibonese Minotaur hunter, but his final resting place was lost to time. After years of searching, I think I finally found the site of Phalavon's mausoleum. I hope to recover proof that this is Phalavon's tomb. His armor, helm, and sword would do nicely. But I didn't get far before I found the cavern overrun with goblins and minotaurs, and parts of it are flooded. I'll pay you well to help me. No one in Leowyn realizes that Undertow Cavern is the final resting place of a great hero. Let me secure my belongings and I'll meet you inside. Time to grab the bull by the horns and wade right in. I found accounts of Phalavon's burial in a shining mausoleum on a hill outside Leowyn. He was laid to rest with his arms and armor, relics of his many victories. This is the place, but goblins infest the caverns, and minotaurs too. You would be, I suppose. Well, Phalavon the Magnificent had a golden helm. He wore armor of impervious mail, and he wielded a sword of exceptional sharpness. The stories say that Phalavon had the most beautiful mail, impervious to sword, arrow, and spear. We don't know much about armor of his era, but he was known as the Magnificent. I can only surmise his armor was quite splendid. Phalavon's sword was so sharp, it was said to be able to cut the air itself. No, that isn't right. I suppose any sword will cut air. Ah, that's it. This one could cut through armor like air. That's what I was told. As I understand it, the helm was a gift from the Lord of Leowyn in gratitude for Phalavon's many heroic deeds in Blackwood. The stories say it was fashioned in the shape of a roaring dragon's face. Well, it has been many hundreds of years. I suppose Phalavon's arms and armor might not be much to look at now, but in any condition they would be of immense historical value. I simply know it. I suppose goblins aren't much of a surprise. They infest many caves in this region, although I had hoped I wouldn't run into any. The minotaurs I didn't expect. None have been seen so close to Leowyn in centuries. That's the very question I was wondering about. Wherever they came from, these minotaurs seem very hostile. Enraged, even. I've heard all kinds of fighting inside. I think they're angry at the goblins. Do minotaurs and goblins get along? That's because it was swallowed by the earth. One night, 700 years ago, people living nearby heard a terrible sound. When they came to look in the morning, they found that the whole mausoleum had fallen into the caves underneath the hill. Because the caves beneath this hill were the site of Phalavon's last and greatest battle. The mausoleum was a monument to his victory, as well as his tomb. Until Undertow Cavern swallowed it up anyway. Just the sort of place goblins love. Darksome, dank, and foul. I can just picture this sword cleaving savage minotaurs. A pity it's dull beyond use now. His armor shone by the light of moons or sun. It's just too bad minotaurs are enraged by shiny objects. Imagine how many times this helm saved the heroic Phalavon's head! Except that last time, obviously. The armor, helm, and sword are all badly damaged. Skeptics might say these could have belonged to anybody. We need to find Phalavon's Horn of Magnificence to settle the question. Phalavon's Horn of Magnificence was his greatest treasure. My grandmother told me he made it from the horn of a Minotaur lord. It had a brass cap inscribed with an intricate design. When Phaelivon blew it, echoes rang from the hills for 7 days. I am. Mostly. But yes, I have a personal stake in this. Phaelivon is a distant ancestor. I grew up on stories of his battles, his magic horn. Grandmother told me the horn's note drove minotaurs mad with fear and rage. But sometimes the horn called minotaurs to battle even when no one sounded it. Maybe the minotaurs are here because of the Horn of Magnificence. Oh, I wondered about that too. House Vero mostly died out long ago, but they were certainly real enough. We can trace a relationship to Phaelivon's line on my mother's side. There is truth to my grandmother's tales. I'm certain of it. No one outside my family remembers Phaelivon. Almost all of the histories that recorded his deeds have been lost. Even his mausoleum vanished. But now I'm close to the proof that Phaelivon really Did you hear that? Phaelivon's horn! I'm sure I heard the horn in this chamber. But who sounded it? Phaelivon's horn! Just as the stories described it. Did this goblin sound the note we heard? It looks like we can get out through here, if you don't mind getting a little wet. Finally, proof of Phaelivon's legend. I'll be the talk of Gideon once I bring these trophies home. And yet, I wonder, did the goblins here cause their own troubles by meddling with Phaelivon's horn? Or is it dangerous to just keep around? I want to take them back to Gideon and prove, once and for all, that my family's story is true. Fame, fortune, festivities await! But if these relics, especially the Horn of Magnificence, are dangerous, perhaps I shouldn't bring them home. You're right, of course. I will destroy the horn before its curse brings about a real tragedy. Patience, prudence, Perspicacity. That's what I should learn from Galvan. He pushed his luck once too often. We may be bruised, battered, and wet, but we are successful. Even without Galvan's Horn of Magnificence, the other relics have a great story to tell. Thank you. Oh, I shouldn't forget your pay. Come visit me and Gideon sometime. I hope to see you again sometime. Although I must confess, now that I've finally found evidence supporting the legend of Galvan, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do next. I shall. Prudence is my watchword. Good luck with your future adventures. I've spent years chasing the ghost of a great hero, but it is an honor to have met one in person.
You know, the crest of Leowin is a rampant steed. Puts a lot of pressure on a stable master like me. But I think I'm doing all right.
stay alert. I have it on good authority that I'm in danger.
Of course, Counselor.
Step back and state your business. I have every reason to believe that my life is in danger. If you so much as make a threatening gesture, the Brigadine will dismember you. He has very strict orders on that regard. I was beginning to suspect as much. Very well. Tell me everything that you have learned. Leave nothing out. I want to hear it all. Lupus, Emperor Leovik's old steward? And Jirik as well? Gods, they are targeting the Elder Council. Anything else? Tell me. The slightest detail could mean the difference between life and death. The ambitions? I heard that term once before, years ago. I must go to Tidewater Cave. I have a cache hidden there, and I need to check my records. Meanwhile, I suggest you find Jirik's files. She kept them in a hidden compartment in her nightstand. Possibly. I oversaw the Imperial Treasury, so my records deal with expenditures and collections. I have documents going as far back as Emperor Morikar, possibly even Durkarach, and I know I saw that term someplace. I will see what I can find. Extremely well. We were rivals as well as colleagues on the Elder Council. It was that way between all of the counselors, I suppose. Her death is a tragedy, however. I will miss her. Possibly. I oversaw the Imperial Treasury, so my records deal with expenditures and collections.
Just pet the dog. It's harmless. Oh, Tertia, you idiot. No wonder he hasn't... Is there something you want? I'd like to be left alone right now. Body? Ring? Oh, Riemann on high, what's this about? Aloysius wrote this? And he's dead? This makes no sense. Howling? Chicken coops? It was just a mangy mutt. I don't even think it was rabid, let alone... Oh no, Aloysius. You poor fool. He wasn't cursed. He was hallucinating. The toad that Argonian used to ease his pain must have been too strong for him. Aloysius convinced himself he was a werewolf, and he... This is the second worst proposal I've ever had. I was once kidnapped by a crazed Sulzon warlord and offered the heads of my neighbors as a dowry. I'd rather not talk about it. I've had more than a dozen failed engagements in my life. If anyone here is cursed, it's me. But it's not all bad news. Aloysius didn't run off and leave me like half the others. He even gave his life to protect me. I've never had anyone love me that much. Is it wrong that makes me happy? Take this, for delivering my betrothed's last wishes. It was kind of you. I wonder if the Temple of Mara would marry us posthumously. It was his dying wish, after all. Maybe I should employ a priest of Arche for the ceremony, so he can pass on without regrets? Well, why not? I've had absolutely no luck with the living, and it's what he wanted. I'd rather die a widow than an old maid. It's not like this is how I dreamed of getting married, but after being jilted so many times, I may as well marry a man who can't change his mind. You may not get it, but for your sake, I hope you never have to.
Over here! I'm glad you're here. I've been searching all over, but I could use your help. This place is huge. Why do rich people need so many rooms? Oh, but tell me, did you warn the counselors like I asked? Sophus is dead? Damn! Was it the Dark Brotherhood? What am I saying? Of course it was! I've torn this place apart, but so far I haven't found anything related to Imperial secrets or the ambitions. Maybe you can spot something I missed. I knew you'd be a help, but I didn't expect you to just have the answer the moment you walked in. Good job! Councillor Jirik's bedroom is upstairs. Let's see if we can find that hidden compartment. Hidden compartment? I love it! I mean, I hate that people have died, but... So, what did you find? Let me see that. That's a code, all right. Some of the other documents I found use something similar. You know, I'm really starting to hate all this secrecy surrounding the ambitions. I'm almost certain of it. And Councillor Leviticus knows my brother. We talked about him a bit when I arrived. If there isn't a qualified scribe nearby, I can send for my brother. Let's go to Leowyn Castle and talk to Leviticus. I can't help feeling that once we solve the secret of the Longhouse Emperors, we'll know how to stop the Dark Brotherhood from murdering any more of the counselors. I'll see you at the castle.
I need your report, mercenary. Word reached me that Councillor Jirik was murdered. What about Sophus and Valeria? And did you find definitive proof that the Dark Brotherhood is our culprit? That's the Black Hand, symbol of the Dark Brotherhood. I wish Jirik and Sophus had allowed me to assign brigadines to protect them. At least Valeria, however reluctantly, agreed to a military escort. Did you and Evelyn... It appears that Councillor Leviticus's trust in the Wood Elf was not misplaced. Very well. You and Everly can head in and talk to the Councillor.
Captain Rian and the Ivory Brigade will deal with the Dark Brotherhood. We're perfectly safe in here.
Your damn empire, Leviticus. It no longer exists, but it still causes us trouble.
You must be the mercenary that Captain Rian told me about. And I see you're working with Everly Sharparrow. Good. Good. I assume... Damn it all to oblivion and back. I should have taken Pharaoh Lupus more seriously when I received his letter. This is definitely the mark of the Dark Brotherhood. Anything else to add to this? Yes, that's the Longhouse Emperor's code. Only a handful of Imperial scribes can decipher it. I know one. Baragon. I'll send for him at once. Meanwhile, we must warn the remaining counselors on the list. Eivor, Valeria, Itinia, and Vandacia. Very good. I've sent messages to Itinia and Vandacia already, as neither of them are currently within Leowin's jurisdiction. I need you to go to Fort Blueblood. Councillor Eivor has taken refuge there, but I'd prefer to have her here in Leowin. Everything we do now must be swift if we are to get ahead of this. Go to Fort Blueblood and convince Councillor Eivor to return to the city. She'll be safer here than at the fort. Sadly, no. Whatever Leovic confided in Pharaoh Lupus and the others, whatever he ordered them to do, he kept it a complete secret from me. I suppose he assumed I wouldn't go along with anything illegal or Daedric, and he was right. I was, but the Elder Council was made up of almost 24 counselors. According to the list Everly Sharparrow brought me, only 7 counselors were privy to this secret. Make that 6. I have no idea why Leovic listed me among that group. Who knows what was going through Leovic's head when he wrote that entry in his journal? Varen and his rebels were literally pounding at the doors of the palace at the time. And Leovic wasn't totally in his right mind even before the rebellion. The Longhouse Emperors were Reachmen, who seized control of the Empire and ruled for some 40 years. Dukarach the Black Drake founded the ruling house. Morikar ascended to the throne after his father's death, and his son Leovic followed him. Leovic made a mistake. When he decided to declare Daedra worship as the law of the land, Duke Varen Aquilarios objected. He led a rebellion and personally dispatched Leovic in the Imperial throne room. Thus ended the Longhouse Emperor's reign. Unfortunately, no. Varen disappeared a few years later and the Empire collapsed. Now the so-called alliances are fighting over the scraps and Tamriel is in shambles. We're doing all we can just to keep Blackwood safe and secure. Eivor has always had an affinity for the Imperial military. When she received her letter of warning from Pharaoh Lopez, she sent word to me, told me she was going to the fort, that the soldiers would protect her. I fear she is badly mistaken. Only a token force of Brigadines guards Fort Blueblood. If the Dark Brotherhood is truly our enemy, I fear a lone assassin can bypass the fort's defenses with relative ease. Eivor would be better off here in the castle. Go and bring her back at once.
Fort Blueblood? That's to the east across the river. I'll meet you there.
My orders are to observe the ruin, not help you mount a suicidal rescue mission.
Then you can observe me kicking every fetching cultist's ass standing between me and my little brother. Who are you? Another of these useless Leowin layabouts? No, you're an adventurer like me. Don't tell me, Zagira roped you into this mess too. My little brother and I answered a job posting seeking adventurers to help explore a newly discovered ruin, only once the expedition got underway and we were all split up, our employers turned on us. I barely got away. Free my little brother and the others before something terrible befalls them? I don't know if I can do this on my own, but I have to try. Can I count on your help? Or were all the questions just morbid curiosity? I can pay if I have to. There were 5, in addition to me, who got duped into this. My brother, Liam, Eolaf, a Nord warrior, Ardia, a High Elf researcher, Dijos, an Argonian scout, and Garlor, a Wood Elf adventurer. Other than my brother, I don't know a lot about them. Not much. Zagira, the woman who hired us, was charming. I didn't buy a story that her expedition was for study, but she paid half our fee up front. I figured they were just treasure hunters looking for plunder. We had no idea they were a cult. About the time they said, "Don't kill her, we need her for the ritual," while trying to wrestle me to the ground. Probably saved my life, though. I fought twice as hard knowing they were taking it easy on me. No one else escaped that I know of. We didn't get far with our expedition before things went sour, but the ruin was in pretty bad shape. You'll need a grapple bow to get anywhere quickly. Fortunately, I have a spare. They're simple enough to use, if you've never tried one. Just line up your sights with a suitable anchor point, release the bolt, and get ready to fly. Don't worry, they're pretty much designed to do all the work. The worst you'll have to worry about is underestimating the pull and spraining your neck.